Hi and welcome to the Science Fantasy Experience and to Bots at Home. Repaints, good or bad? Yes. My answer is yes. I've always been incredibly split 50-50 down the line when it comes to repaints. I think they are both good and bad. When they are bad, they are often just incredibly awful, somewhat lazy, and a complete cash-in and overuse of an existing mould. But when they are done well, I think they can be exceptional. You can find characters that have never been made into a toy before. They deepen the lore, they embellish on them, and they bring new characters to the forefront and can really enhance your collection and enjoyment of toys. But as I said, completely down the middle, both good and both bad. And there is examples through pretty much every iteration of Transformers. If we think about the last 5 or 6 years, to let's take Combiner Wars. I was never the biggest fan of Combiner Wars. I liked the concept. It was great to see Gestalts getting their own kind of theme, but the execution, I think, was weak, and it came down to the toys. I just didn't think they were very good toys in terms of some of the mold choices and the plastic and the playability, and those repaints within that. Yes, there were some exceptional repaints for sure in there, but there was a hell of a lot of cutting corners and just overuse of the same molds, just with a very quick repaint to get another character. Case in point, Hound and Swindle. You can't just turn either or by changing the colour. It's incredibly lazy, and that comes down to just being one of the bad ones. I think the Technobots, Computron, again, almost all of that was poorly done in my opinion. But as I said, there were some really, really good ones in that toy line. You got a translucent plastic Ghost of Starscream, which at a cheaper price point, that was your way to get that character into your collection, as apart from buying, you know, a masterpiece. That was a really cool addition to the toy line. Even changing up Blast Off from a space shuttle into a jet, for me that worked incredibly well in terms of the Combaticons. It kind of was very fitting. You know, I've always liked military vehicles as a kid and as an adult, and the Combaticons were some of my favourite and still are combining teams. And to see Blast Off as a jet, it really worked for me. And new characters, Rook and Alpha Bravo, deepening the lore. The idea of a helicopter with the aerial bots I thought was a really great idea and a great repaint. Slightly diminished by using that over and over again, but still deepening the lore. Great repaints, but some awful ones. But as I said earlier, when repaints are done well, they can really excite you. And I have repaints in my collection. The repaints that I enjoy the most come from eHobby. eHobby has taken some of the G1 molds and taken them to places that are just so incredibly unique and diverse, as well as improving on characters, increasing their bios and taking a look back through Diaclone and bringing back some of those Diaclone colours and inventing new characters, as well as bringing back one episode characters in toy form. So I've picked out 3 from my toy collection to have a look at and let you know what they mean to me and just how good a repaint can be. So first up we have Sunstorm, generic Decepticon from the very first episode, More Than Meets the Eyes. So originally he wasn't called anything, he was just a generic Decepticon seeker in that very first episode, and obviously as time progressed he got given a name, and in 2003 got its own toy. eHobby bringing out a 1 episode character with a repaint of the Starscream F-15 Seeker mold. Incredible. I didn't have the Seekers as a kid, wasn't interested in any 3 of them, Starscream, Skywarp or Thundercracker. I was an Autobot fan through and through, loved cars, so it was always the way. Boy, have I missed out on years of fun. I had no idea that the Seeker mold was this much fun, and to get it in a really interesting redeco of a 1 episode character, that's my bag. The colours absolutely pop, all the orange and the white, it's so bright, and it's a fun toy to have, and it's one of the best repaints. Just the fact that you can get these types of toys, you know, I've mentioned it, the deepening of the lore. You know, it's, you know, everyone can have Starscream, Thundercracker and Skywarp in their collections, but maybe not everyone is going to be interested in Sunstorm. But to me, he's a great addition. Secondly, Protect Black Ironhide, a Diaclone inspired new version of Ironhide, disguising himself from both Decepticons and the human criminal underworld. eHobby developing that bio, deepening that lore, as I've mentioned, and creating a very different Ironhide to what he once was. No longer that clumsy kind of war veteran, to a bit more of a Prime's bodyguard with a protected black armour coating, and just that little nod to the original toy that the Transformers came from. I detested Ironhide and Ratchet as a kid because they looked nothing at all like the animation, the cartoon that I watched on a regular basis. I just did not want to own the toy or play with the toy, and over the years I have learned to appreciate this toy for what it actually is. It's a really wonderful alt mode, the Nissan Vanette, but the fact that it turns into a mech with its armoured sled, I can see it for the toy much more than I can the Transformers character. It's a fun toy. All of the G1 Diaclone toys are just so much fun. I often talk about pick up and play in my videos, and that's what goes for the early G1 Transformers. I can understand why I'm not alone in the fact of people not liking Ironhide and Ratchet, because they just really didn't look like they're no faces. You know, the face was put on the seat inside. But as a mech, it's an incredibly fun toy, but as a repaint, it's a great development of a character. You know, in some ways Cup superseded the war veteran, and I much prefer Cup over Ironhide, but to have this representation of Ironhide is fantastic for my collection. And finally, onto my favourite repaint that I own. In fact, one of my favourite toys that I own in my whole collection, Detritus, the junkie on. G1 Hound, repainted into a Decepticon or a junkie on, done in dirty, muddy, brown tones with dry brushing on the feet and the mud guards. A brand new deco, a brand new character, cool name. It has it all. Not just in terms of being a brand new character, but coming from the G1 Hound mould is incredible for me. I was recently on around 30 minutes with Matthew Deluxe Baldwin, and he asked me the question of, if I lost my sight, what toy would I want to see as the last thing? And I chose G1 Hound in all his glory in both modes. That green military Jeep with all the chrome. It's such a great toy. It's fun to transform and it looks great in both modes. And then obviously eHobby created a brand new junkie on for me to enjoy. It's just great. The colours are so good. That brown plastic works well with the die-cast metal of the sandy colours. You know, if the Junkions weren't all motorcycles, I imagine they'd be beaten up Jeeps and Baja bugs, and that's what I get from this toy. When eHobby does a repaint, they really go to town, and they have really embellished G1 for me, and really, not to sound like a scratch record, but really deepened the lore. You know, Transformers needs to stop making itself smaller, and it needs to expand the universe with new characters. And yeah, these are from, you know, 2003, 2004, but they're deep rooted now in the fandom. It holds a special place in my heart, this toy. You know, I first saw it maybe about 10 years ago with a review from Grey and the Collector 75, and I was just like, wow, what is that? That's an incredible repaint. And then subsequently you go on to try and hunt it down, and this was my first toy purchase on the Saturday at TFN 2018. There at the Space Bridge, I saw it at an incredibly reasonable price, and I ummed and ahed, went back to the bar, and then ran back to pick it up. So it'll be always forever in my heart that I managed to get something from my wish list at TFN, the first purchase, and it really started off that convention for me with a bang. That's just 3 of the G1 eHobby repaints. You know, you can get a repaint of Grapple into Hauler, you know, the character that became Grapple from, again, the first episode. Blitzwing has been repainted. They're some of the best repaints, and that's why I'm always so torn, because Hasbro tends to be lazy for sure, and it happens in every toy line that they do, but then other people come along and create fantastic repaints all over, from third party even to Hasbro itself to Masterpiece. But yeah, I'm always going to be torn. Let me know in the comments section below what are some of your favourite repaints, or even what your angle is on the debate. Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Are you trapped like myself? Let me know. I've been Rudy Sasoo for Bots at Home. If you do find yourself with a spare moment, please check out the Just Giving page for Mary's Meal and see if you can help out a child in need. Thanks for watching.